Plays only 3 Huntmaster FLs, which is kind of strange, but he plays 4 Pilgrim, 4 Smiter, 4 Angel, 4 Thragtusk. Has 1 Angel Serenity, 3 Borderland Rangers to help fix his mana. Does play 2 Thundermaw Hellkites. Clearly has the 4 Farseek. Plays 2 Bonfire, 2 Selesnya Charm, and he does have 2 Searing Spear in there, which I kind of like against certain decks. But and one of each Garruk. So pretty close to standard list, I think.
Taking a look here at John Kennedy's Bant Hexproof deck, I'll keep it short and sweet for you. John Stern's winning deck list.
There you go.
Just that easy. It's just card for card. Everything that John Stern did last week in the Grand Prix Atlantic City is what we're trying to accomplish here.
You can win a Grand Prix.
Hexproof. Yeah.
You win it open.
And so we are going to start here. Both players are going to keep 7 cards. We see Sun Petal Grove for John Toone, and we see a Hallowed Fountain there for John Kennedy. Old school Hallowed Fountain. And now an Avacyn's Pilgrim. Pilgrims on both sides for the players. That's a Pilgrim mirror, as it were. I know that, been harping on Pro Tour Barcelona a little bit, more than I thought we actually would coming into this, but that was a card that kind of almost defined that format with how important it was. There's a lot of games won where someone played Eternal Avacyn's Pilgrim, the other person didn't.
Yeah, you really wanted ramp. You wanted to jump the curve because there's so many green decks. So whether it was Avacyn Pilgrim or the other green werewolf.
The 2-mana one, whose name I can never remember.
But you always wanted to jump the curve in the green mirror matches because Huntmaster FLs was so important to get him to play first. So, yep, definitely. Oh, wow. Celestia Charm, is he making a 2-2 and blocking the Avacyn Pilgrim?
I think this is happening.
Should have played around it, Johnny. Should have played around it.
No block?
Nope, wait, did he just not?
No.
I don't know what happened there.
I can't imagine no block.
Did he not block the Pilgrim? The Pilgrim did attack, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's, you can't always. Maybe he was afraid of a pump spell. He wanted to just play that.
Hey, I don't see it. I don't understand it. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we missed something.
I'll give John the benefit of the doubt and assume that he was playing around a Selesnya Charm on an Avacyn Pilgrim.
All right, I'm with you.
So let's assume that's why he didn't block.
Sold and sold.
So hopefully John doesn't have a Thragtusk here.
Well, what is
so
that?
He's not. Oh, well.
Well, he doesn't. You're right.
He doesn't have a Thragtusk.
So we see Thundermaw Hellkite coming across for John Toone.
Infinitely worse.
Yeah.
Thankfully, John has a second Celestia Charm to deal with that.
He does draw a Hinterland Harbor for the turn. Going to put that one into play. Another Celestia Charm. We're also going to find another Spectral Flight here.
Well, now I'm pretty sure he just forgot to block, because if you were playing around Selesnya Charm, you're probably not going to load up your token, but who knows?
Hey, he had big plans.
He has a plan, he's sticking to it.
So you see a Selesnya Charm to go along with a Sun Petal Grove, another Hallowed Fountain in John Kennedy's hand, and he is coming across here with a 6/6 Flying Vigilant Knight token.
Restoration Angel would be nice here.
It wouldn't be the worst.
Sort of tap down that flyer, swing in for 6.
Let's see what John Toone can come up with here. You see John Kennedy rearranging that Knight token, that Flying Beater.
If John does have a Restoration Angel, can he talk his way into baiting John to casting Selesnya Charm at the wrong time?
That'd be pretty hard. I think we might. Are we going to find out right now? We're going to see. It looks like. I feel like we're going to see Thragtusk. Nope.
Or, wow.
So many 5-drops in his hand. Yeah. Jeez.
Even better.
All right. Trigger that. Race is on. In come the Dragons. This attack for an 11.
I think John's thinking here, okay, can I afford to drop to 3? Because if I keep the Selesnya Charm, then I have more outs, because a Rancor's an out. Because if John's at 10, a Rancor's an out, an Ethereal Armor. Will Ethereal Armor be an out alone?
Ethereal does it alone.
2, 4, 6, 7. No, because the Abundant Growth, so Ethereal Armor. So I think he's just going to try to kill it here. Seems fine. Increasing Savagery still kills John. John's at 8 now, so I think he's pretty sure he won't lose next turn.
There's an abundant growth drawn for the turn. So he gets
if he draws a Rancor or another Spectral Flight, then he might regret casting the Celestial Charm. But that doesn't. No, looks like it was a correct play. So swing in for 6. Hope for the best.
Cavernous Souls was the draw off of that abundant growth. You can see John's hand there at home. A handful of lands, Sun Petal Grove, 2 caverns, and a Hallowed Fountain. So, not great.
Need a Resto here. Resto would be solid.
Thraktos is even pretty good.
Well, Thraktos is okay. The problem is he can't attack with the Thundermaw.
Yeah.
So.
Let me ask you this question. Play a little game inside the game. If John Toone attacks with Thundermaw Hokite, if you're John Kennedy, you have 4 lands in your hand, are you blocking?
It depends if he thinks he. I mean, I think you have to, because you don't know whether or not he has Searing Spear or, well,
Could have Pillow
no,
Flame.
I think he has to take it. He has no other outs. He's got to take it.
So you draw a step here. Hallowed Fountain. Maybe Thundermaw could have snuck in some damage there. Doesn't sound like you were going to block. Because Celestial Charm doesn't change anything. So,
Yeah.
you know, now it's a matter of, well, is there a Searing Spear? Is there a Bonfire?
He could have a Bonfire.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. If he has a Bonfire, then that kills off the...
John draws his card now. John Toone down to 3 life. Of course, that Vigilant Flying 6/6 did come across, so it is 8-3. Life totals are correct. You see an attack with everybody here. Yeah, in front of the Thundermaw.
All right, Celestial Charm, Searing Spear, Bonfire, anything to kill.
A lot of ways to finish it.
Hopefully this isn't just a post-combat.
Uh-oh.
All right, so goes back up to 8. John still has some outs.
Uh-oh.
Another Pilgrim.
Another Pilgrim.
All right, so John still has outs. And let's see if he gets there.
Yeah! Yeah! Ah! Evison's Pilgrim.
Oh, well.
All right, in for 6. John Toone shrugs his shoulders, says, I'll go to 2. John Kennedy plays Evison's Pilgrim. Passes the turn back. Says John Toone want to attack with all of his creatures. Is he scared? Does he have the fear? Or is he just going to get in there? That was a get in there shoulder shrug, if I've ever seen one. Scared of nothing and no one.
I would like to point out, had John blocked the Avison Pilgrim, Thundermaw would have came down a turn later, and John almost assuredly wins this game.
You are correct.
So, I don't know if John simply was playing around Celestia Charm or just didn't feel like it was worth blocking there, but the way the game played out, had he just made a token and blocked, he would have been able to win the game.
Yeah. Either way, John Toone up a game against John Kennedy in his Ban Hexproof deck. And I do have John Kennedy's deck list in front of me. Again, very stock deck list that you guys would find from Grand Prix Atlantic City. 4 Stranger Root guys, 2 Feeling of Dread, 3 Rest in Peace, 2 Wolfare Avenger, 1 Negate, 1 Rootborn Defenses, 2 copies of Nevermore. Of those, this matchup seemed very race-oriented, so I can see the 2 copies of Feeling of Dread coming in. I'm not sure if you want Strangleroot Geist here. Again, it is kind of hard on the mana. It obviously works out pretty well with the Undying and everything that it can do here. I'm just not entirely sure if that's what you want. And the Wolfare Avenger, a card that he can actually catch people off guard with, but I mean, is he going to take the opportunity to flash in a blocker to take advantage of something? Because we saw last game that he didn't.
Yeah.
So, not sure how effective Wolfare Avenger will be.
Yeah. And from John's side, John Toone's side, don't love the Planeswalkers in this matchup. Don't really like the Searing Spear. I think he doesn't have many cards that are great in this matchup. Rest in Peace, Angel, Serenity, Oblivion Ring, Bonfire the Dam probably comes in. He has Centaur Healer, Triumph. I think maybe the Pillars and the Bonfires are cards that he wants. Bonfire for obvious reasons. Pillar just because, even though it's not great, I think if he can kill a Avacyn Pilgrim and sort of maybe screw up John's mana base a little bit, it might be worth it. It's much worse on the draw, so he might not bring it in this game. But I don't love Searing Spear in this matchup, and I don't like the Planeswalkers, so I could see boarding in a Bonfire and maybe some Centaur Healers or some Pillars to maybe try to burn him out.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm not in love with the Planeswalkers. So I think if I'm on the draw, I'd probably just take out 2 of the Planeswalkers or 2 Centaur Healers.
Okay.
But beyond that, not much I'd want in this matchup.
It's kind of strange because I agree with you on the Pillars and that you do want to board them in just because there are targets for them in Avacyn's Pilgrim and Silverblade Paladin and potentially Strangler Geist. But again, it's not a great card, but it's also like a card that you kind of need to leave in because, again, Silverblade Paladin is so powerful in what it does for this deck.
Oh, yeah.
You want to have a way to be able to take care of it, but the question is, from the one attack that you get from it, is the damage already done?
Yeah, I think I'd probably bring in 2 Pillars, 1 Bonfire for the 1 Angel Serenity in John Toone's main deck and the 2 Planeswalkers.
Okay.
I think that's probably how I would board. Everything else, Borderland Ranger, it's probably the weakest card, but it's a card that you don't really want to cut because you want to be able to fix your mana. You don't want to lose to not drawing a red mana or something. So, again, Searing Spear, you can burn him out with it possibly, and it could also kill Silverblade Paladin. It's one of your few answers to it at instant speed. So yeah, I think that's probably what I would do.
So you do see both players taking a look at their opening 7 cards here. If you are just joining us, I am Cedric Phillips in the booth here with Salsa Champion, Pro Tour Champion. There's nothing you can't do. Osip Lebedovich. We are here at SCG Dallas, the Open Series. About 550 players here this weekend, playing 10 rounds of Standard. We are in round 6. We are presenting you guys a Bant Hexproof Naya mid-range match as we see Avacyn's Pilgrim here for John Kennedy. If you guys do want to join the conversation, you can join us on Twitter at SCG Live or hashtag SCGDAL for Dallas. Have some fun. Call me and Osip stupid. Do whatever you want. Or just call him dumb. Either way is good. But we are going to see a Pillar of Flame here taking down the aforementioned Avacyn's Pilgrim.
And it's interesting because John actually boarded in to the Billigan Ring, which I would not have suspected him that he would do. But I mean, I guess it deals with ethereal armor, but beyond that, not much. You can take a Rancor, you can take ethereal armor, but not that great in this matchup.
Yeah, it's just not a good use for Oblivion Ring, even just from, just the amount of mana you're using to take care of that single mana permanent.
I also didn't love the turn 2 Pillar on the Avacyn Pilgrim because John already had a Temple Garden and the Hinterland Harbor in play, and 3 mana is really his
it's kind of a sweet
big
spot.
Turn there. So he's going to be able to cast the Geist no matter what. I think it's much more important to cast the Huntmaster this turn. So if he goes Farseek, that's exactly what could have happened. Instead, John's basically going to unload this turn and make short work of John.
So is this how they won the Grand Prix? As we see a Rancor, an Ethereal Armor, and an Angel come into play.
Yeah, that's 13, John Toone. Yeah. 13 on turn 4, what?
Yeah. Not only is it 13 on turn 4, but Geist is out of Bonfire range.
Yeah.
Which is just unbelievable.
The awkward thing is John's hand is 1 more Rancor and 1 more Ethereal Armor. Still had all these against your Thragtusk.
Yeah. Oh, we're not going to sell all these. Those are coming into play.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a fairly exciting turn for John Kennedy.
You see John Toone looking over his hand. This is helpless.
Yeah. When I first started playing Magic, this is exactly what I dreamed of.
Yep.
Attacking with pants.
That's right, all the pants.
Yeah. Look at John. John even has a smug. Yeah. He's like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with that.
That's a real tough guy. Let's play the
Look
third
at
game.
that. Oh, the boldness Kennedy has now.
Yeah.
when you deal 13 on turn 4.
We're about 10 minutes away from starting.
It's hard not to feel good.
No.
It really is.
This is an event you are interested
You feel like a baller, straight up baller.
Yeah. I imagine that's what Grand Prix Atlantic City was like last weekend for John Stern and Josh Utter-Layton. Just comical one-sided beatings, and the opponent just looking at their hand and going, yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I had draws like that, I would literally be just leaning back in my chair in every match.
Yeah.
Just so cool and collected. It's like, yep, nothing you could do. My guy has Hexproof.
Yeah.
And he's a 5/5.
Yeah. The out in the format, it doesn't exist. It does not exist
What
for
are you
your
gonna do,
colors.
Tribute to Hunger?
Oh boy.
Who plays that card?
Yeah, no one. Not people might start.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So we're going to play game 3 here. John Toone's going to be on the play this game. Goal obviously being, hey, don't die on turn 4. How about that? There's a trick.
John, you should do more to not die on turn 4.
Try harder. Cast his Farseek's harder. This is obviously a matchup that, Bant Hexproof, this is a deck that Bant Hexproof wants to play against this time mid-range deck.
Yeah, it wants to play against any mid-range deck.
Yeah, it's just
especially
what it
ones that
wants.
don't have access to black.
Yeah.
Because, there's not much they can do. They don't have wrath effects. Their goals try to block, but you have Special Flight and Ethereal Armor to make blocking very difficult for them. And not to mention Silverblade Paladin. So, yeah, I mean, this is exactly the type of deck Bant Hexproof was built to beat.
Oh.
So. It did so in Barcelona.
Yeah.
No reason it can't do it.
Certainly did. It cleaned up on those Naya decks that a lot of people were playing at that tournament, and I can't imagine anything being different here. I mean, the Manus, it's almost like it's almost like the exact same situation. The Bant Hexproof deck still has terrible mana, but once it has everything online, and it did gain a card in Ethereal Armor that it didn't have then, it's hard to stop, as we're going to see a Glacial Fortress here from John Kennedy. Rootbound Crag to go along.
Farseek or Pilgrim is really important for John, so thankfully he had that. But it looks like he's not drawing the basics, but it looks like he might have a Cavern. So if he can get turn 3 Huntmaster, that's pretty good for him. John has the Invisible Stalker, so he has one part of his combo.
Using the term combo there loosely.
Very loosely.
Very loosely.
Very loosely. So John ideally wants a Huntmaster right here, but he'll sell for a Restoration Angel. Just get something out there. Although, yeah, Borderland Ranger? Smiter, okay.
I mean, that's big, but it doesn't have an effect on the board. I mean, not much of one. Let's see what John Kennedy's got. What kind of pants do we have in our closet?
If it's, it looks like he has a Special Flight at least and a Soulblade Paladin. So he's going to be threatening to do a lot next turn. Right now, probably only 3. So basically, unhindered, he's got a 3-turn clock right here with the Silverblade Paladin.
Sure. As we do see the first set of pants there, the Spectre Flight going on the Invisible Stalker. I don't know how an Invisible Stalker wears pants, but it's doing it. And so now John Toone, the race is on, my friend. Thragtusk is a good race winner. I don't know if he has the fifth mana source to be able to do that.
I think he might have a Cavern. It looks like he has a Cavern.
Okay.
So he can at least get a Thragtusk out there. Smashes for 4, plays a Thragtusk, gets some life back. This game is still within his reach. It does look like John has a Feeling of Dread, which is going to play into the game, I think, in a couple turns. But, definitely not out of reach yet for Mr. Toone.
And there is our Cavern of Souls, and there is our Thragtusk. So John Toone is going to move up to 22.
Assuming you name Beast the Cavern, not sure.
Likely Beast or Human, but we'll get confirmation from our spotter there at the table. As we do see John Kennedy untapping, it could be Silverblade time. We start with a Forest for our draw step. And we're going to have a Hinterland Harbor come and play untapped. You see the Feeling of Dread, and you see the Silverblade Paladin.
It looks like maybe a Celestial Charm at the end there, too. So
yeah.
I know he's got a Feeling of Dread. Probably going to go Silverblade, Avacyn Pilgrim now. Swing for 6. Hope that the Feeling of Dread can do enough over the 2 turns after that to win the race for him. But, if John has a Thunderbolt Hellkite, it's going to be tough.
And in addition to that, with this line of play, he has opened himself up to a Miracle Bonfire.
Or even just a hardcast Bonfire. I mean, getting rid of the Pilgrim and the Silverblade Paladin, even though he won't be able to kill the Invisible Stalker, it still might be enough. He's dealing 2 to John, killing 2 of his creatures, and nope, John, you can't block with the deck test.
Can't block with that for a lot of different reasons.
Mr. Toone, this Hexproof deck would be significantly worse if that were possible. So interesting, he chose not to play. He wants the Feeling of Dread now, possibly afraid of a Thundermaw. But I'm not sure. Maybe he's also afraid of Bonfire, but interesting to see if John does Feeling now and Mr. Toone just has a second Thragtusk, then I think he might have just too much in play and be at too high a life to really lose this race. So
And he says, 1 second, I have effects in your attack step. I'm going to Feeling of Dread. And Feeling of Dread is going to tap the first 2 guys. He's going to tap the Thragtusk and the Loxodon Smiter. Post-combat, we're going to see a Farseek. Okay.
So,
that's a sigh of relief.
It's exactly what John was hoping for. Toone is just going to be able to Farseek here. So if Kennedy draws an Ethereal Armor, he's in great shape. Threatening to do 12 damage and basically putting Toone on a 1-turn clock.
And now we're going to see a
And
Huntmaster.
Well, that's pretty bad. Yeah, Kennedy's going to have to draw some of his pants, some more pants, you know. Special Fight alone won't do it here. Increasing Savagery would be good. But Ethereal Armor I think would be best because at least he can cast the...
How about Abundant Growth?
Well, Abundant Growth can still be Ethereal Armor. Let's see if he gets lucky here. He basically needs to kill Toone in 2 turns, so Abundant Growth into Ethereal Armor and then play the Paladin is pretty good. Draws a second Paladin. Not quite what he's looking for.
I think he's got to play the first one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He has enough to play one of them and flashback a Feeling of Dread. Yeah. So, it's, you know, it's something, but he's still dealing with a lot of creatures on John's side of the board, as well as a pretty high life total.
The nice thing about the Feeling of Dread too, right now for John Kennedy, is that it's gonna prevent Huntmaster of the Fells from flipping.
Yeah.
So it's gonna do a nice job of both buying him time and preventing, you know, a worst case scenario here, which is Huntmaster flipping and taking out a Silverblade Paladin. Yes, he does have another Silverblade Paladin in the holster, but again,
well, I think the worst case scenario is a Miracle Bonfire right there.
Yeah.
That would have. Pretty sure Toone would have fell out of his chair if that were the case. So John does have a Selesnya Charm, which means that an Invisible Star could do 10 damage.
Yep.
So, you know, it's gonna be close. I think if I was I think if I was Kennedy, I might actually let this attack go through.
Save the Feeling of Dread?
Well, he could Feeling of Dread any blockers that Toone has, which would then allow him to attack with all his creatures and use the Selesnya Charm, which would be exactly 15. But I don't know. I think he might be afraid of a second Thragtusk or a second Huntmaster or a Restoration Angel. There's just so many cards that Toone could have.
There's a lot to be afraid of here.
He's probably just trying to. He might want to just play it safe.
So we see an attack here for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with a Thragtusk and a Smiter coming across now. So he's elected not to use the Feeling of Dread on that. Kind of thinking about your line of play here. You know, using it right now would be a little bit obvious.
Yeah.
He's trying to get the most he can from it.
This is the last chance to sign up. It will be starting in moments.
Silverblade gonna make its move.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so he's gonna make the trade there because he has a backup one.
Yeah.
You don't sound like you love it.
Well, the thing is that like if he still keeps that Silverblade in play, he just gives himself more outs. Well, Toone had the second Thragtusk anyway, so again, I don't think it mattered. But again, Kennedy can still win this game. Really needs Ethereal Armor here or Increasing Savagery.
Draws Geist to trap.
Is not going to do it.
I would say he is going to be able to play some spells this turn to slow down that Huntmaster of the Fells, which is key. So we're going to see Geist to Trapped here. And I don't think Invisible Stalker can stop attacking yet. As you do see, John Kennedy is down to 11. This is getting awfully close here.
John's actually in fine shape. He still has Ethereal Armor or Rancor, I believe, as an out. So he basically attacks with Invisible Stalker, taps both the Thragtusks, takes 5, you know, John could draw a Restoration Angel, which would be the worst card for him, or a Bonfire. But barring those two cards, Kennedy could still win with a top deck pump spell because he still has the second Silver Blade and a Selesnya Charm.
But I think the most important part of that turn was attacking with Invisible Stalker, and he chose not to do that.
Yeah, by not attacking with the Invisible Stalker, he gives himself not nearly as many outs.
Yeah.
Because he just can't do as much damage now. I don't know why you would hold back the Invisible Stalker. Like, you're at 11. If he draws a Restoration Angel or a Bonfire Dam, you're dead anyway.
Yeah.
So your only chance of winning this game is dropping John down to 17, tapping down his 2 Thragtusk, John not having a relevant play, untapping and playing the Silver Blade, Selesnya Charming your Soul Bonded Invisible Stalker, and hopefully getting a Rancor too, or an Ethereum, which you should have enough mana for to do all that.
Now this attack is curious here, as he's coming in with the Huntmaster of the Fells, the Wolf Token, and the Evanescence Pilgrim, right in the face of a 3/3 Invisible Stalker. I mean, screams Selesnya Charm to me. Screams a lot of different things, though. I mean, we don't think he has Bonfire, obviously. I think he would have miracled that by now. Probably would have hardcasted by now, but this is screaming Pump Spell to me. A Pump Spell that John Kennedy has in his hand that he has to think that John Toone, probably has in his deck.
Yeah, but if he puts him on Selesnya Charm, that's not enough to kill him anyway. Like...
And so we do see a chunk block there from the Evanescence Pilgrim. John Kennedy going to move down to 8. I'm trying to figure out what that chump block accomplishes for John. He does take a draw step. He draws another Selesnya Charm, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he chump blocked there. Yeah, he doesn't have enough here.
Yeah, I think the mistake that he made in this game, honestly, is he just stopped attacking. This isn't a deck that really plays defense that well.
Obviously, he doesn't have enough mana to cast both his Selesnya Charms, but, you know... So he can cast one Silver Blade Paladin. And he can Soul Bond. Yeah. Yeah, you see, if Kennedy had attacked last turn, he would have been able to win this turn. Barring Toone not having a Selesnya Charm, he attacks with the Geist of Saint Traft and the Invisible Stalker. The token comes into play, he Soul Bonds it with Silverblade Paladin, he pumps it with Selesnya Charm. So that's 12, 15, 16, 17 with the Geist. John Toone would have been at 17 because he attacked for 3 last turn.
Sure.
So he'd be dead, effectively.
Yeah, assuming John has nothing, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the assumption that we're currently under.
Yeah, but again, you have to play aggressively with this hexproof deck. You can't, because your cards aren't good enough to deal with cards like Restoration Angel or Bonfire Dam anyway. So yeah, at least trigger.
Let's see if he's going to pair here, or if he's paired with anything here. All right, there's your Restoration.
All right, well, yeah, he had the Angel anyway, so.
That was John Toone's last card. That's the card he can never beat in the first place.
Yeah.
We'll see what he targets with the Restoration Angel, if it's going to target Thragtusk or Huntmaster of the Fells. And he is going to target Huntmaster of the Fells, so he's playing around Selesnya Charm properly as well. So it's going to get him 2 life. It's going to get him a Wolf Token. And it's going to let him, what I believe, to make a counterattack that is lethal.
And again, you can say that, okay, Kennedy couldn't really do anything because Toone had the Restoration anyway. It's not really the point. Kennedy made 2 plays in this match that, 1, definitely cost him the game, and 2, could have cost him the game had his opponent, not top deck a Restoration Angel.
Sure.
Which he definitely did last turn. I mean, he must have drawn it last turn. So, the game before, if he just makes a token and blocks the Evanescence Pilgrim, he probably wins that game. And this game, if he just makes the correct plays, he could have threatened lethal this turn. Obviously, he wanted to 1, but that's not the point.
Now you're going to see Celestia Charm. +2/+2 on the Invisible Stalker. Double block there on the Geist with the Restoration Angel and the Wolf token. So the Wolf token's going to go bye-bye. And this is going to be some amount of damage, at least 4. If the Stalker is paired up with the Paladin, it's a lot of damage, but again, it's not going to be enough damage, and he's tapped out, shields are down. I don't know how he's getting out of this one. I
think
see a
Kennedy
lethal
just
attack.
wants a couple extra minutes on camera. All
Yeah.
right, there we go.
and
There's the handshake.
that's what it looks like to me, too,
Good
as
old
we do
handshake.
get a handshake here. John Toone wins the match 2-1 with Nine Midrange over John Kennedy, his bad Hexproof deck, where, I believe that John Kennedy did have the positive matchup, but again, subtle mistakes.
Subtle mistakes. They make all the difference, And again, maybe he had a reason for making those plays, but, you got to know your deck in and out. You got to know what the strategy is. You got to know what the important turns are for your opponent. I got to make sure that he doesn't hit turn 5 ahead of schedule. I got to be the aggressor every single turn. I got to know when to hold back. And I just feel like he made the wrong decision in certain critical turns. Not the entire game,
Of course.
but just enough of a mistake to let Toone get back into the game and capitalize on an advantage. So, it happens. But, hopefully he learns from it.
And you can tell that, the game where they really got to play Magic, I think Game 3 is an example of where the two players really got to actually play interactive Magic.
Yeah.
It just seemed like John Toone really had a better idea of what he was looking to accomplish in the matchup. Just as far as, the ways that he can take control and then swing the pendulum back in his favor and then start attacking again. I think he used his resources correctly, where I think John Kennedy certainly had the resources to win, and he used his incorrectly by not really assessing how much damage he could deal in a turn, how to spread out that damage over the course of the game, when's the right time to use the Celestia Charm, because he had that Celestia Charm forever.
Yeah.
And the time that he finally pulled the trigger on it, it didn't really do very much.
Yeah.
You could say it actually did effectively nothing.
Yeah, there was definitely a turn where he could have got the Silverblade Paladin in play earlier, and swung for 6 as opposed to just 3. He chose to just cast Feeling of Dread instead, which I felt was a little too soon.
Yeah.
Maybe he was playing around Thundermail Hellkite, maybe he was scared of that, but I just feel like if he has the Thundermail Hellkite, it's just really bad for you,